Hello everyone and welcome to Disasterpiece Publishing House. I'm Dev Salovey.
And I am Cy Metz.
And this is a show about the good, bad, but mostly bad of weird internet literature.
Dramatic readings included.
Alright, so I'm pretty excited. It seems like you have something for us today, Cy.
Yes indeed, Dev. Just when I felt as if we were going to... I was going to run out of ideas of what to do on the show. I'm struggling to get through one of the things I want to bring, and this literally fell into my lap. Uh-huh. I found this book we're about to read called The Never King by Nikki St. Crow, literally at a bus stop. And this is one of those straight to Amazon self-published scandalous smut, where a lot of the subject matter in it is pretty heavy, but it's handled very funnily. Because it's just the first draft of a smut fic. Okay. And the little game we're going to play today is there's going to be a twist. Okay. I'm not going to reveal what property that this is about. Okay. So it is a fan fiction? It's a reimagining of a property. Okay. That's what I'll say. It's it's one of those things where they take a beloved character from certain media. I won't say because I think it would. Okay. The audience is going to know, but you aren't. They're probably Googling it right now. Okay. Oh my god! But we'll get to the twist and we'll talk about what I think is so funny about it once we get there. Okay. Cool. Because I was thinking okay, well, this is going to be whatever. But immediately I open the book and it has one of the best opening lines. First of all, just to point it out, this is one of those things where it's it says all characters are over 18. It's one of those, Just suspend your disbelief that everyone involved is an adult. Chapter 1. This is from the perspective of our main character, Winnie Darling. I haven't attended a normal high school in over 2 years, but yet I find myself still hooking up with the star quarterback in the passenger seat of his SUV. He is bad at sex. Magnificent on the football field. If only I liked football and hated sex. Anthony shoves inside me and I make the porn star face for him because I know he likes it. I pretend to orgasm with him.
Oh my god.
I am not a porn star, but I am the daughter of a prostitute, so I think that's close enough.
Wow. Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck yeah, Winnie. Fuck. Oh, baby. His grip on me is loose and clammy. He's trembling like the boy he is. We're the same age, but decades apart. Fuck, he says and breathes hot air against my naked chest. That was so good. Was that good? The lack of confidence is insufferable. I don't know that I've ever slept with a confident man. Or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're only confident in the taking. So good, baby. You're so good at sex. And I am so good at lying. He smiles up at me as I continue to straddle him, and then he stretches up and plants a kiss on my mouth. I feel nothing other than a dull ache in my body and a throbbing headache behind my eyes. I am dead inside. Paragraph indentation. And so fucking bored. Paragraph indentation. And the only thing I have to look forward to is being kidnapped by a myth. Paragraph indentation. Happy fucking birthday to me.
This is so edgy. I love it.
Yeah, it gets fucking edgier. And
that's pretty much clear in the beginning.
This is one of my favorite self-published sins where a lot of the writing is just really stream of consciousness. How the way it goes, I am dead inside. I am so fucking bored. And the only that segment right there is Ben Shapiro writes like that. Ben Shapiro is my metric of you are dog shit at writing and self-published as hell and didn't have an editor to go, no, what are you doing? Stop that. Anyway, happy fucking birthday to me. And then this little indentation thing. Anthony zips himself into his jeans and then drives me home. I stare out the passenger side window as the SUV winds through my neighborhood.
He zips himself into his jeans. It's such a weird way to describe that.
No, I've heard it described like that. Yeah,
interesting.
But it's.
Right. I'm just picturing him in a denim body bag, just.
See, I'm imagining that he accidentally gets his dick caught and he's just too lazy to fix it. Oh, I zipped myself into my jeans, but don't worry, I'm still gonna drive you home.
Excuse me, I'm assuming it's a her. Is their name, her. Okay, it is her. Is her name Winnie Darling?
Her name is Winnie Darling. Yes.
What the fuck?
You'll see. The people who know what this is are going, oh, but you'll see. You'll see.
Okay, alright.
I stare out the passenger side window as the SUV winds through my neighborhood. When he pulls up to the curve, I start to open the door, but he grabs my arm and leans over for a kiss. I begrudgingly give it to him. You coming to the party this weekend? He asks, more hopeful than I'd like. When you're extremely giving with sex, you're always invited to the parties. So many parties, all of them the same. But I like familiar things. I've always been short on familiar. Text me, I tell him, because I'm not sure where I'll be this weekend. Today is my 18th birthday, and every darling woman that has come before me has disappeared on this day. Some are gone a day, others a week or a month. But they always return broken, with varying degrees of sanity intact. I don't want to go mad. I like who I am, for the most part. When I come in the door, Mom is suddenly in front of me. Where have you been, Winnie? I thought he'd taken you and... Her attention wanders, and then she races to the nearest window and tests its latch. She's muttering to herself as she works. Pirates, and lost boys, and fairies, and him. She won't speak his name when she's awake, but at night, when she dreams, sometimes she'll wake up screaming it. Peter Pan.
Oh... I was running through, like, I was trying to figure out, because I'm not familiar with Peter Pan. Like, Lost Boys, that kindled something in my head, and so, but my thought was, like, Pinocchio, but I know that's not Pinocchio, so, right. Like...
Now that we've had that reveal, it's time to read the back of the book.
See, I just want to get into, like, real quick how fucking wild modern adaptations of Peter Pan get. I don't know if you remember this. I'm pretty sure you were there for it, though. I went to Tucson Comic-Con one time, and there was folks there selling an adaptation of Peter Pan that was, like, if he was a mercenary with, like, guns and stuff.
Hey, I'm not going to get too into that, because there are people in our community. But yeah, I've seen it, and I it's not great.
Yeah, no,
I'm sorry, guys, but like, look, you're only at Tucson Comic-Con for a reason. Yeah. I'm only at Tucson Comic-Con for a reason too. Yeah. This isn't a Stones from Glass Houses situation. It's just we're all swimming in the same waters here.
Yeah, I mean, you see it in TV too. Like I bet you it's been in Once Upon a Time, but yeah, definitely. Peter Pan is one of those things that, like, and there's a lot of stories like this, honestly, really don't need modern adaptations, because once you do, it just gets fucking weird.
Yeah, and I think Peter Pan is one of those properties where it's perfect for something like this, where it's in the public domain. Everyone has a loose idea of what the story is because of Disney. There's an understanding that the public domain story is darker than the Disneyfied version, so people always jump the gun and going like, let's make this way more dark and dramatic and fucked up. And I think it's because of those things, as well as the fact that Peter Pan is a story about, like, innocence and childhood, and people just fucking love taking stories like that and going, what if we made it fucked up and sexy? What if we made the story for kids about murder and murder fucking?
I know, and fuck
murder. This and is already... and fucking murders.
I know, this is already fucking, like, this is very funny, but, like, I do want to make the point of, like, that's one of the things that, like, I really hate too, is when people take classic stories and making them modern to them just means adding a lot more sex and violence and rape and stuff like that.
Here's the thing. I think that this is a bad thing to make that complaint about, because this is meant to be smut.
Yeah, like, no, it's meant to be.
Like, it's just like a jumping off point for a more or less completely unrelated narrative.
Yeah,
and I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
I'm not making that criticism specifically of this. I just think, like, you see TV shows about that too. I think the only time it's really been done well is with Shrek. Like,
because Shrek, I think, is a really great example, because, like, it's really cynical in the way that it, like, parodies a particular type of pop culture movie.
Yeah.
So the jabs at that are just kind of making fun of this other studio, but it's still a good movie nestled within that. It's like, it still has heart. Its message is still, like, taken seriously. The characters are treated with, like, empathy.
Yeah, yeah. Shrek is just, in my opinion, one of those like classics that's always going to be good. Yeah. I think that's proven by the fact that it's A, a good movie, and B, has also become a shitpost, and it kind of always will.
There's this really weird vicious cycle with Shrek, and I'm only using vicious cycle because it's like a word I know. Yeah, but it's people watch the movie, they go LMAO ogre, and then like get into this ironic meme culture about it. But then also, like, it's a good movie, so when people loop back around and watch Shrek again only through the lens of memes, they're surprised that it's a good movie again. Yeah. I don't know. One of these days, I feel like we should just have an episode dedicated... I know it's not the theme of the show, but I do just want to talk about Shrek.
Well, maybe we'll talk about Shrek someday.
Hey, maybe we'll talk about Shrek. Who knows?
Maybe sometime soon even. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
I want to read more about this smutty Peter Pan fic.
Yeah. One thing I will say that I do appreciate about this type of... Again, I'm making fun of this because it's, like, written poorly and funnily. Not because I think there's anything wrong with, like, kinky writing that pushes the boundaries of, like, taboo. Like, people... BDSM exists, and fucking CNC, consensual non-consent, that's a perfectly valid thing. There are ways to, like, have... kinky, sort of, like, not normal sex with a part... Like, that's why this shit exists. It's because, like, it gives people a very safe, silly, non-threatening way to approach these types of things and come.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is just porn, but it's silly porn.
Yeah, it's a stroker, but very, very silly.
Just again, I think that this is bad because it's made badly, not because I think that these types of things shouldn't exist. Yeah,
that's fair.
That's the caveat I want to make here. And also, porn should be allowed to be silly and stupid. When I make it, I always try and make it like...
Yeah,
really.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I say it's silly, and then we're about to get into some real yikes shit.
Oh boy, okay. Here we go.
Oh yeah, that was the point I was trying to make. The author for this, like, the very first thing that she writes is... Hey, this is a reimagining with children's characters. They're 18 and plus. Don't read it if that would upset you. Also, I'm not going to say it here because spoilers, but go to my website and it lists a website with all the content warnings.
Oh, okay. That's good. Yeah, I'm glad they made an effort to put the content warnings.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of people who read this type of stuff are like the types of people who would appreciate that.
I think it might be good to just get into the content warnings now so that way...
Oh, yeah. Violence, blood play, enemies to lovers, sort of... consensual, like the kind of like, oh no, not in my butt type of like saying out loud, no, I don't want this, but paragraphs of internal monologue about how wet it's making her pussy, like that type of shit.
Excellent. Okay.
Yeah. And also, about to get into it, they really don't know how to talk about mental health.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right.
The very next sentence after Peter Pan is... Mom has been hospitalized 7 times. They say she's schizophrenic, just like Grandma and Great-Grandma, and all the darling women before her. A legacy of madness that I stand to inherit. Winnie! Mom rushes up to me, her bone-thin hands wrapping around my wrists. Her eyes are wide. Winnie! What are you doing? Get in the room! She shoves me down the hall. It's still daytime, and I'm hungry. I'll get you when Okay, listen. Her gaze goes far away and she frowns at herself, her grip loosening and my stomach drops. Please, for the love of all gods, I don't want to end up like my mother. It's so edgy. It's so edgy.
Yep, I love it already.
He's coming, she screams at me. I know. I use my soothing voice on her. I know he is. But you'd have the house battened down better than a bomb shelter. I don't think anyone could get in. Oh, Winnie, her voice catches. He can get in anywhere. If he can get in anywhere... See, that's really clever, because it both means her room and also...
Her holes.
Her holes!
I don't even know if it was meant that way.
It might be a double entendre. I could never know with these types of things.
Yeah, that's fair.
A lot of times with like this type of smut writing, usually written from a women's perspective, there's a attempt at subtlety that
sometimes lands, sometimes doesn't.
Versus like blunt dude smut, where it's like he fucked penisly into her wet fucking pussy.
Yeah.
If he can get in anywhere, then why lock the windows? Why stay in the room? She pushes me over the threshold, ignoring my logic. The special room is a work of art fueled by terror. You can read the frenzy in the rough brushstrokes that adorn the wall, runic symbols painted like graffiti with more etched into the casing around the door. There had been a parade of so-called witches and shamans and voodoo priests that have come into our lives and through our houses, selling my mom the secrets of protection from him.
Sorry, Mom, facts don't care about your feelings.
Yeah, Mom, you dumb fucking bitch. Peter Pan isn't real. He's fucking Peter Pan. It's probably genetics. We don't have the money for it, but we spent it just the same. I'll get you something to eat, Mom says. What do you want? It's okay, I can... No! I'll get it. You stay in the room. Stay in the room, Winnie! She races back down the hall, her gauzy white dress billowing behind her, making her look like a specter. A few seconds later, pots and pans bang around our kitchen, even though I'm absolutely positive we have nothing that can go in a pot. This is my favorite line in the whole book so far. This is the 19th house we've lived in. I know the number of houses, but I can't remember most of them. And when your walls blur together, it's hard to feel like you're ever at home.
Oh, so edgy.
So fucking edgy.
Love it.
Look, I came from a broken home where, like, my deadbeat dad got kicked out of a place every 6 months. Maybe, like, 9 or 10 apartments.
Yeah,
Maybe like 9 or 10. That's so ridiculous.
Even families where that's happening a lot of the time, or like mom or dad is in prison or in the system or whatever, like that's not going to happen very often. It's not going to happen that often. Unless you're like a criminal and you're escaping the authorities, you know.
Mom said she thought maybe she could lose him, Peter Pan, if she kept us moving. Just in case we forgot, it's only been a page. Mom said she thought maybe we could lose him, Peter Pan, if she kept us moving. We travel light. I have 2 bags and 1 trunk that I inherited from my great-grandmother, Wendy. It's smaller than it looks from the outside and about twice as heavy as it should be. I can't seem to get rid of it.
Okay, so she's saying her mom is schizophrenic and that her delusion is Peter Pan.
Right.
And that is the reason that they are running from place to place, is because Peter Pan is stalking them.
It's a curse that as soon as the darling women turn 18... Peter Pan shows up with his fucking Romeo and Juliet law card laminated. Like, all right, time to fuck!
Yeah, so he just shows up.
And like, the dick is so good it drives them crazy forever.
Flies in the window, whole cock out. You know,
yep.
Ready to get down. Awesome.
Oh, we'll get to Peter Pan shows up by the end of this chapter.
Oh, excellent. Okay.
I can't seem to get rid of it. It's about the only thing we own that holds any value. The only thing that feels real. Our current house is an exhausted Victorian with crumbling plaster walls, worn and nicked hardwood floors, and lots of empty rooms. We don't even own a couch. Furniture is too hard to move. Okay, just a quick little editing note. How much more badass would this have been if it was just like the same house from Peter Pan, just like crumbling and dog shit because the family is like too scared to like leave the house? I don't know. That would have made way more sense and maybe kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I can see that.
Just like all this setup never fucking goes anywhere, so it doesn't even feel like anything. So it feels weird to like point that out because this is just about sex fucking.
Yeah, it's porn. We're not here for the plot.
I don't know. I've seen some porn with some really well drawn backgrounds. That's all I'm saying.
Fair enough.
I collapse on the inflatable bed, shoved into the corner of my special room, and stare up at the ceiling where the curling graffiti has been done in blood. That was the witch from Edinburgh. Said only blood would do, and it had to be mine. Maybe we're all mad in our own way.
Oh, that's not how blood works.
Of course. Also, like the indentations for the sake of emphasis. I'm gonna start just calling that the Shapiro ending.
Yeah, it's painful to look at. Honestly,
it's really painful to look at. I don't know if it's a combination of like they just needed to fill out page count to make it look more inflated, or if she just thought it was for emphasis. I'm leaning more onto the latter half.
I would say so too. Yeah. That's usually why they do that. So.
Yeah. Also, I'm sure that I'm not catching it all, but like it's tense bothers me too. It switches between passive tense, you know, like or whatever the fuck it is, where it's like I ask her as like active, and sometimes it's reflective, you know, like, what's the term for that? You know more about writing than me.
So, okay, a mistake that amateur writers will make often is switching between the past tense and the present tense, just because those are the two tenses that narratives are most commonly told in. You can switch between the two, but it's usually... No, it's pretty much always when the story itself is told in the present tense, but the narrator is reminiscing on something that happened in the past.
I forgot the most important piece of world building here. It wasn't just directly ordered off of Amazon, the way you would get the impression. This also came with the receipt for purchase at Barnes & Noble.
Oh my god.
Yeah. $15.90 after tax.
Someone paid a whole $15 for that, and then left it at the bus stop.
Yeah. On one hand, like, I kind of feel bad I stole someone's thing, but they left it at the fucking bus stop, and it sucks, and it's bad, and, you know, you can just get the Kindle version.
Yeah, you can probably get the Kindle version for real cheap.
You for sure. I'm gonna plug her website at the end, because I'm making fun of her, but, like, it would feel shitty to, like, do that and not direct traffic towards her.
I do want to just, quickly during the break, go to that website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Check it out.
She watches me eat the peanut butter jelly sandwich, jerking every time the house creaks. Tell me about him, I ask her as I peel the crust from the top of the sandwich and eat it like a length of spaghetti. Just rip. Eating it like a fucking seagull. I guess she likes long stuff.
Oh my god. Well, I hope she likes long stuff in her mouth.
Yeah. The emphasis on the Lost Boys kind of makes me hope that there's a gangbang scene later. Like,
oh, there has to be.
There has to be, right? They're
just
I'm
like, sure, yeah.
We'll see if we ever get to, we're not going to get to Peter, but, like, he explicitly states, like, by the way, the Lost Boys are waiting for me outside. So, like, his gaggle of goons show up with him to go like, oh yeah, you got the pussy, dude!
Yeah, no.
Woo! Hit that shit!
For sure, there's gotta be bukkake in there.
There's gotta be. And if not, I'll write it. Mom winces. I can't. Why not? She taps her index finger at the temple. From what I've gathered, she thinks some kind of magic keeps her from talking about him in detail, so I only get bits and pieces. She tells me the magic wanes on new moons, but we're halfway to a full moon. It's the tide and the full moon that brings all of the monsters out.
See, that to me is what tells me that this person knows nothing about schizophrenia, because if you talk to someone with schizophrenia and you ask them directly about their delusions, they will tell you all about it.
Well, that's the thing, is that, like, literally what happened is their brains got turned to gush because of magic. But also, everyone outside thinks they're schizophrenic. It's just like a really lazy...
Yeah.
There's no actual consideration for the way that this thing would affect this character. It's just oh, she's crazy now. That generalized view of insanity is never, like... It's what... apart from being offensive, it's just, like, not interesting.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's... Yeah, because I swear to you, like, as someone who works with schizophrenic people are far more interesting, like... in real life than they've ever been in fiction, in my opinion.
Like, honestly, the only...
with a few exceptions to that.
The most accurately I've seen mental health discussed in fiction is in fucking They Might Be Giants songs. What can you tell me, I ask her. Huddled in the corner of the room on her cot, knees drawn to her chest, she considers this for a few seconds. I imagine she was beautiful once, but I don't know her as anything other than crazy.
Wow.
Like... hot, crazy bitches don't exist. Wow, you know, Mom's looks have gone downhill ever since she got diagnosed with schizophrenia. I guess the voices are telling her to not bathe or whatever. You know, crazy people! Her hair is dark and coarse like mine, but it started to thin because of all the medication she's on. Her skin is ruddy, her cheeks hollow. There are layers of cracks in her fingernails and circles beneath her eyes. She doesn't work anymore. She's on disability, but it barely pays the bills.
She's a Dickensian street urchin.
Oi! I got fucked by Peter Pan! Can you give me a halfpenny? I don't work no more! I've got to feed my daughter peanut butter and jelly!
I was just listening to the description and I was like, this is a stereotype of, like, a broken person.
Yeah, it's like, okay, so my mind goes one of two places. they get fucked over by Peter Pan, but still, like, get fucked again and have a kid. Or, this is a direct lineage, and, you know, I'm sure they're gonna address it later, but that's just where my mind is going now.
So Peter Pan breeds every generation, pretty much. I'm sorry if that was too dark.
Peter Pan is a little boy with a daddy king, which is sexy and cool compared to the other little boy with a daddy king from earlier in the book. He's physically young, but mentally, it's the opposite of the other guy.
Yeah.
Ugh. That grossed me out to say too. It feels like that's the point this book is trying to make.
Oh, okay.
You know? Like, that's the foil they're trying to do. I'm reading into it.
Yeah, we could do as much analysis on it as we want.
Okay, we're almost to the end of this chapter. Peter is about to show up. I feel like now is a good chance to take a quick little break.
Okay, sounds good. Alright, we're back from our break. I went ahead and pulled up the author's website. Her name is Nikki St. Croix. There is a sequel to this book, and it came out today, the day we're recording, which
Holy shit!
March 22nd, 2023. It just came out today.
Holy shit, that's incredible.
Yeah, and apparently it's got a lot more plot, because I'm reading the description here, and, like... It's okay. Let me just read this to you because it's wild how much changes from the description of this book to the description of this one. So, I thought Peter Pan was myth, etc., etc. But there was no denying the overwhelming shadow cast by Peter Pan when he was standing in my house. So he takes her captive to Neverland with the Lost Boys. So she says, "I found my place among him and the Lost Boys. I've never looked back. Now I'm entangled right alongside him in a war we can't seem to escape. We thought we had defeated our enemies. We thought we could finally have our happily ever after, but there was one enemy we never saw coming. A fairy who has nothing to lose and everything to gain.
Is it Tinkerbell?
The fairy with golden wings and a dark, twisted heart. She wants Neverland and she'll stop at nothing to have it, including destroying anyone who stands in her way, even her own flesh and blood."
Oh my god.
I love that Tinkerbell is some kind of evil dictator that's so... and they're caught in a war against her? Like, that's so different from what's implied from this book. I'm just... Like, this one is definitely porn, but the description here reads like a YA novel. It's so wild.
I guess they got all the boning out of their system. Or they need more dangerous boning.
Yeah, I guess so. This porn has plot, apparently. Alright.
Hey, I watch porn for the plot.
Valid.
Getting fucked in the ass is a plot point. Oftentimes in porn. And that's the plot I'm here for.
Alright, well, if you want to...
This show is going to make me unhireable.
Alright, well, I mean, if you want to jump back in,
let's jump back in. There are layers of cracks in her fingernails and circles beneath her eyes. She doesn't work anymore. She's on disability, but it barely pays the bills. And the more isolated she is, I think the worse she gets. "I remember the sand," she says and smiles. "The sand? It's an island." "What is?" "Where he'll take you." "And you were there." She nods. "Neverland is beautiful in its own way." She wraps her arms around her legs and folds into herself. "All of it is magic, and so much of it you can feel it on your skin. Taste it on the tip of your tongue." She's turning piratey. "Like honeysuckle and cloudberries." She lifts her head, eyes wide. "Yar, I do miss the cloudberries. He misses the magic." "Who? Peter Pan?" She nods. "He's losing his grip on the heart of the island, and he thinks we can fix him." I like how this is both like an info dump and apparently the first time they've ever fucking talked about this. This fucking sword of Damocles hanging over their head, and she's finally like, "All right, Mom, so tell me about it."
I gotta say, with the accent you're doing, I'm kind of picturing, like, Less of a woman and more Captain Barbossa.
See, I'm imagining that as she's recalling it, she's starting to regress, and she became a pirate by the Yar! I forgot how good it felt! I feel the magic coursing through me veins! Okay, he's losing his grip on the heart of the island, and he thinks we can fix him. Why? I tear off a corner of the sandwich and mush the bread between my fingers, flattening it into a pancake. Jelly squirts out the edge. I'm trying to prolong it, trick my belly into thinking it's getting a 5-course meal. Mom lays her cheek to her knees. They broke their promise, she mutters. They broke their promise to me. What promise? I don't know how to stop him, Mom whispers, ignoring me. I don't know if it's enough.
And now I'm stuck in Davy Jones' locker.
Yar! I can smell his sweat socks. It'll be okay, I assure her. I'm not worried. None of this is real, except for the madness. That I am worried about. Will it be like a light switch? 1 minute I'm sane, the next I'm not? The thought of losing my mind terrifies me more than some boogeyman. Another indent, fucking paragraph, scene break or whatever. When my mom falls asleep, I slowly slip out of the room. A storm has rolled in, and lightning flashes through the window, lengthening the shadows of the old Victorian. See, this is... I feel like everything in her, like, writing style is focused on, like, back and forth dialogue. I mean, that's not... It's not great, but it's, like, what she excels at is, like, having people talk to each other, and what she seems to be focused on. So when she has to fill out the scenes, and not be, like, an internal monologue about the self or, like, a conversation...
Yeah.
She flops and doesn't really know how to...
What... The thing that writers who excel at dialogue, a lot of the reason for that is just because they really care about their characters and how they think, and how they interact with each other. So I do want to make that point. Like, I'm that way too. Like, I love dialogue. So, like, that to me shows that, like, she just really enjoys her characters and her characters interacting and stuff like that. So I just
I was more trying to make the point that she has a very inconsistent way of describing scenery that feels like it's just trying to hit bullet points and then move on. And, you know, just I'm the same way too. It's why I like draw instead of write. You know?
Yeah. She has the problem of, like, not building the scene. One of the most, like, valuable things I learned in writing is that when you're doing description, you don't just describe what you're seeing. Yeah, the character interacts with the things around you, and that's not what Winnie Darling is doing here. And I think that's another reason why it might feel a little just like it's tripping you up, you know.
But then again, this book's selling for $16 fucking bucks at Barnes & Noble, so I guess we're the fucking morons.
Yeah, you know. What can I say? The only thing I've published is a webcomic, so.
Yeah. I go to the bathroom in the hall and stare at myself in the mirror. I don't recognize myself. It's like looking at a stranger. Some days I wonder that if I reach out for my reflection, there will be nothing there. I'm starting to look like her. Paragraph indent. Carved clean. Period. Exhausted. Period. Paragraph indent. I don't want to be mad. Period. Paragraph indent. And I'm just so fucking tired. Paragraph indent.
I want to see that.
Hold on, let me finish reading it and then I'll show it to you.
Okay.
My cardigan slips off the bone of my shoulder and I catch a glimpse of a puckered scar. One to match the runes drawn on the ceiling. I pull the collar back up. Paragraph indent.
Wow. Yeah.
It looks like a particularly shittily formatted poem.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe Nikki St. Croix really enjoys poetry.
I would like to read her poetry and not her novels.
I don't know. I'd like to read her novels.
Yeah, I'm having a great time right now. You know?
Yeah, well, I think it's just because I enjoy things that give me brain cancer, and, like, this is...
I will say, like, jokes aside, like, the hard-hitting, funny opening just immediately being about disappointing sex, I actually kind of like how that's... Initially, you feel like it's like a character choice, like, this is going through all the boring plot points and of like the boring points of sex because it is boring for this character, and you're almost kind of like excited, like, oh hey, this feels like intentional. And then you realize, oh no, that's just how she writes. But Nikki St. Croix, your opening is genuinely pretty good. I like the first page.
Yeah, definitely fun.
The medicine cabinet is missing half a door. So the left side is opening, revealing several rolls of pill bottles. Take your pick. I don't want to be mad. I reach out for a bottle of ibuprofen. I've taken so many over the years. I barely know relief from them anymore.
Wow. She makes it sound like she's taking opiates.
Yeah. That's like... this is why I don't feel like we're gonna get into anything that's actually triggering, knowing that it's about... Because, like, this is someone writing non-consent fantasies who thinks that ibuprofen is hard. The floor creaks beyond the hall. I snatch my hands back. Lightning flashes through the house again, and thunder chases it. When the rumbling ends, I hear a door shut. Mom. I race down the hall and hurry into the room, but she's still on the cot, sleeping soundly. By the way, I just want to say, for like the past, 8 sentences, every single sentence is a new paragraph. You know what? The more I think about it, I wonder if that's like an intentional thing to make it easier to read on e-readers.
I doubt that, because if she's published it physically, that's not...
Well, a lot of times these days, the physical copy is like an afterthought to the EPUB.
Oh, interesting.
The same way that someone who's writing like a webtoon comic is writing for that format of the vertical reading. I wonder how much of it is like editors like encouraging that type of thing, because that type of fan fiction reading, you know, like when you're in that headspace of short, punchy bits, that type of thing is powerful when you're reading like trashy internet writing.
Yeah, it's interesting because for me, the formatting kind of doesn't matter. Like I could, honestly, I feel like if I were using an e-reader, I would still find that distracting.
Right.
That could just be a personal thing, but I don't think it's the kind of thing that's necessary to make it more readable.
Because something that also is striking me about this is it feels like even the margins of this are wider than I would normally, like slightly wider than I would see in a normal book. Yeah. That's what's making me think like, I wonder if it's formatted this particular way for e-readers.
Well, but then again, if that's how she's doing it, she's also got some long paragraphs in there. It's an interesting point.
I'm thinking out loud. It still sucks. But, I like to give things their fair shake.
Yeah, I mean, besides, the formatting's not the point. The porn is the point. So,
well, it's just like something I notice in a lot of these self-published things. I wonder how much of it is amateurishness and how much of it is an intentional choice.
Given the edgy perspective, I think it is. It's not for the e-reader. I think it's for the tone.
Okay. I race down the hall and hurry into the room, but she's still on the cot, sleeping soundly. My heart rams into my throat. Another board creaks. Maybe someone broke in, thinking the house was abandoned. We can barely afford the rent, let alone the utilities for a house this size. We hardly use the lights. Slowly, I shut the bedroom door behind me and slide the lock closed. We don't have any weapons, nothing practical. We spent all our money on useless magic. Breath held, I grip my teeth together. The doorknob turns. I slowly back away from it. Has it started already? Have I already lost my mind? Thunder cracks through the sky.
God, I'm so fucking excited.
The lock thunks open as if by magic, and a boot pushes the door in. The hinges squeak. I look at my mom again. Was there more to her stories than I was willing to believe? This can't be true, can it? Mom lurches awake. Baby, what's the time? Shh. I hurry to the door and give her a shake. But it's too late. The door is open, and he fills up its void. I can't fucking breathe. There's the distinct sound of a lighter being clicked open, then the rough spin of the metal wheel.
What?
Who would ever describe it like that? When you fucking click open a lighter and you got that that metal wheel thingy. That's something you say when you're trying to remember like what a lighter is conceptually in your mind.
Yeah, that's called a striker. It's not called a metal wheel.
You can Google. Like, you're publishing this on the internet.
Yeah, the thing on the lighter is a striker. A metal wheel is what you use to solve puzzles in Elder Scrolls 4.
Then another thing, Nikki, if you don't know what a word is, you're probably typing on a computer. You can
Google the parts of a lighter. Yeah.
I don't feel so bad being mean to this random lady because we're going to be equally mean to Jimmy Buffett.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. I just want to put that out there. Like, the next one I'm doing is also a mean one.
Yeah. We're dunking, but Nikki
we're
St.
dunking.
Crow, we love you.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this is great. The flame catches, sending light over his face as he burns the end of a cigarette. Silver rings on his fingers reflect the flame. Dark tattoos cover his hands.
Oh my god.
There are several strips of string and leather tied around his wrists. He's tall, broad-shouldered, and wearing a long coat with a stiff collar that stands up around his sharp jaw. Even though his body is hidden beneath the coat, I can tell he's corded with muscle by the mere suggestion of his biceps. And suddenly the writing is great, because she's horny!
Yes!
Because she's so horny!
Yes!
Let's go!
Yes!
When he pulls the cigarette away from his mouth, I can't help but trace the veins that snake over his knuckles with a quick sweep of my eyes. He expels the smoke with a purposeful breath. Meredith, he says.
Yes.
It's been too long.
Yes.
Mom's breath catches beside me. Is this really happening? Yarg! You can't have her! She yells. As if you could stop me. My heart leaps to my throat. Please! Mom says. He takes a long hit from the cigarette, the embers burning brightly. I hear the tobacco crackle as the smoke curled around his face. There's a fluttery feeling in my chest that instantly makes me feel guilty. I suddenly feel more awake than I've felt in years.
Yes!
I should not be feeling anything other than dread in this moment. This is real. Mom was telling the truth. Please! Mom says again. There is no time for begging, Mary. He takes his first step over the threshold. So much for that magic. I gulp down a breath, trying to quell the rapid beat of my heart. Somehow, in the blink of my eyes, he's crossed the last of the distance between us. He takes a fistful of my t-shirt dress and yanks me to my feet. We can do this the easy way or the hard way, darling. Which will it be? I gulp, trying to dislodge the lump suddenly growing in my throat. He watches me do it, watches my tongue dart out and lick my lips. The fluttery feeling sinks lower, and the guilt festers and turns cold. He is my mother's urban legend come to life, and I don't know what to do with him now that he's here. You have 3 seconds to decide, he tells me.
You know exactly what to do with him. Fuck him! Fuck him.
There's no hint of exasperation on his face, but I sense it nonetheless. Like he's had this conversation a million times and is always disappointed with its destination. Mom rises next to us and starts pummeling his grip on me, but he's quick, almost too quick to follow when he drops the cigarette and lashes out, grabbing her by the throat!
He's about to pummel someone!
No, he says easily. Don't make this more difficult than it needs to be. He turns back to me. Go on, darling. He gets in close to my face, white teeth gleaming in the moonlight. He's almost too beautiful, too dreamlike. Maybe I'm already mad. And if I'm mad, none of it matters anyway. I'm waiting, he says. The easy way. Obviously. His brow lifts in amusement. Obviously? Why would I choose the hard way? Mom loses her fight and goes quiet. First lesson, he says. There is no easy way. He turns to Mom. I'll bring it back, Mary. You know they always come back. Then he drops his finger. He drops her, snaps his fingers, and everything goes dark.
Yes, yes, yes.
And we're hitting the 51-minute point, but I do want to, like, just to show how much info dumping there is, I'm going to read a little bit of the Peter chapter. Because it shifts perspective to Peter. Yeah. So this is from the perspective of Peter Pan. We're gonna stop at my favorite line. That repeats itself.
He muscled biceply into the room.
He muscled he fucking grabbed my mom's throat and was gonna fucking murder her so he can fuck me, and I've never been wetter in my life. Yes. When he was about to kill my stupid, crazy bitch mom, oh man, I knew he was the one for me.
Yes. Yes.
Wow, it turns out that violence makes me horny. Okay, Peter Pan. It takes me twice as long to get back to Neverland in the treehouse with a darling thrown over my shoulder. She's light as a feather. Her rib bones are sharp enough to hurt. This darling is not well. Perhaps her spiderweb cracks means she'll be easier to break open. What a dog shit fucking line. Oh, that's a really, really terrible line. Sorry. It's not carrying her that makes the trip harder. It's the shifting between two worlds and my waning magic. I have so little left to spare. This one has to be the one. I don't know what happens if she isn't. I am this island. It won't survive without me. When I walk in through the open doors of the treehouse, the lost boys are waiting. I lost count of how many there are now, and I can never remember half their names. But the ones who matter will be waiting for me at the loft beneath the canopy of the Never Tree. I take the darling up the wide staircase, hand trailing through the carved banister to keep me upright. Wrought iron lanterns flicker from their scrolled hooks. I am so fucking tired.
Oh my god. So if I what I am to extrapolate from this is that he needs
he needs to bone to get his magic back.
Yeah, he needs young women sacrifices pretty much. That's oh man. This is delectable.
It's got its own like justification for it. Yeah, and, you know, whatever.
It's got a magic system, and that magic system involves sex. Yeah,
we need more stuff with a cum-based magic system.
Porn-based magic system. Yes.
So far, all we really have is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Love it.
If you haven't read JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, read it and prove me wrong.
Oh man, yeah, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, fantastic.
Yeah, if you come into the comments saying like, no, I've watched all the way through part 3 and there's that it's in the newest chapter. Fuck you. They reveal it's all cum in the most recent chapter, and if you want, sit and read all of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Is it weird that I kind of want to read this book? What's it called again?
Here, I'm giving it to you.
Okay. Thank you. The Never King. Interesting. Yeah, no, I mean, you know me. I love weird stuff like this. So I'm so stoked.
Yes. It literally feels like a gift from God.
It is a gift from God in a way. Thank you, Nikki St. Crow. We love you.
All right. So, Nikki St. Crow. We're poking fun at you just because it's fun to do that. But like, keep doing what you're doing, unless like there is some yikes shit later on that can't really be justified. In which case, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna read it to find out, so I'm just gonna assume you're cool.
Yeah. No, we love it. Keep writing. Writing always improves when you keep doing it too. So I'm sure your books when you're 70 years old are gonna be fantastic.
And if they're not, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fine too.
You're selling this shit for $16 a pop, and we're making a podcast for 4 of our friends.
Fucking make that money. Make it rain. Do you have any final thoughts?
My throat hurts.
That's fair.
That's my final thought.
All right. Well, as always, we'd like to thank Aria for the use of our theme song. You can find her on Twitter at 2glitch. If you like the show, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. Leave a comment. Any engagement helps. Share it with your friends. That sort of thing.
Another thing, too, of course, we were ripping on Nikki St. Crow a lot. Because this book sucks. But if this sounds interesting or like a fun read, go visit her website, nikkistcrow.com. She seems to just be like someone who's chugging along doing her thing in this media ecosystem.
To point out, it's just to spell it out for you, NIKKISTCROWE.
You can get her books on e-reader for pretty cheap.
Yeah, support indie creators.
Yeah, support indie creators.
All right, and on that note, we will see you on the next episode.
And remember, folks, don't read where you shit.
Awesome.